There was an article, I want to say a few days ago, sometime last week, where Kevin Feige mentioned that we're heading towards the end of phase four and that we should be seeing shortly within the next upcoming months what the next big saga is, like the Infinity Saga that we had, which contained phase one, two, and three. Phase four is going to be its own thing, is going to have its own major narrative. So, he also mentioned that there have been hints throughout the movies in phase four. So I wanted to talk to you guys about that for a bit and get your thoughts and see where you think phase four is headed. So who wants to go first?
Daniel's been on point with this whole phase.
I know,
so far,
he totally has, man. Take first crack, D.
I'm just glad they announced that they announced what they'll be working on and what will be coming out soon. Because this, after the whole Infinity Saga, nothing. It's not 100% clear where the direction of the next monumental Marvel event is going, and so I'm just curious to see what they are trying to do besides introduce new characters. Where the what kind of big time world changing event or world changing event is that we can maybe get a glimpse of.
Do you guys think it's a little too soon for Secret Wars? Do you think they'll cap off phase four with Secret Wars?
Secret Wars is the multiverse war, right?
Yeah.
Where they all end up.
Well, I think that's what they're building up to, exactly.
Yeah,
that was mentioned on Loki.
I would say we're far from that, very far, because we didn't see the end to the Infinity Saga until phase four. So I imagine that we're going to go through 5, 6, maybe up 7. Then you start getting to the end of it's been 12 to 15 movies in between all of those. Unless they're not doing the same formula for that they did.
Yeah, I actually think the opposite. I think because, the fans are so used to having the whole couple of phases, they understand the movies now. I think we're going to jump into it, man. I think it'll take a few movies to build up, certain key movies. But I think they'll be a lot faster. They won't take so long. The last phase took 10 years or something. They'll be a lot faster about it now, telling the stories now that we know who the characters are, and they're just gonna keep pushing because they're building a lot more. They're building the obvious stuff for Secret Wars. With Kang being involved, and then Mr. Fantastic popping out in Multiverse of Madness. But then you have the other side where you have Moon Knight. Moon Knight doesn't fit into that from the comics. Blade. What's the Knight one from Eternals? I forget his name.
Oh,
Kit
Black
Harington's
Knight.
character, Black Knight. It's just, and then Spider-Man's in Secret Wars, but he's also doing his own. You can tell they're doing a street level, like we're always talking about, with Kingpin, Daredevil, She-Hulk. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know a few years back, I want to say it was 5 years ago. It's been a while since they started announcing the phase four movies. One of the things that Kevin Feige said is that the phases will be shorter, or before you get to the next big event, it's not going to be, like you said, 10 years. But I kind of feel with what we've gotten, you can kind of put a couple of things together and see where the pattern is going. But I don't think there's enough to really say, oh, the next big thing is going to be Avengers Secret Wars. Like you guys said, I don't think we're there yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if they jump to it. One of the things that I was thinking, and I know, I like to come up with off the rail theories, but what if all the movies that we've gotten on phase four hasn't been with any of the characters from the MC universe that we come to know, right? What if all these movies have been different versions of different heroes from different realities, right? We thought we saw Doctor Strange from our universe, but they clearly said it was, Doctor Strange from Universe 616. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the same Doctor Strange from the first movie or the same Doctor Strange we've seen in Infinity War and Endgame. And this could all be consequences of Endgame, right? Because with Endgame, when they started messing with the timeline, that led up to what happened in Loki, and Kevin Feige was pretty clear that what happened at the end of Loki is what allowed for Spider-Man No Way Home to happen, and also for what's happening in the Multiverse of Madness to happen, right? So what if after Endgame, all these movies we've seen from Black Widow, because this is the other thing, right? If you go back to Black Widow, there was that one scene where the Red Guardian is talking about he met Captain America in the 80s. We know that Captain America from the movies wasn't around in the 80s. Now, you can say, oh, it was probably, that other Captain America that came out in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that was Captain America in the DL. But it didn't seem like that's who he was referring to. He was referring to the Captain America from the Avengers, which is why he was asking Natasha about him. But what if, again, that was just a whole other universe? What if Black Widow took place in another universe? Shang-Chi's from another universe? If that's the case, right? Like, let's say every single movie that we saw is from a different multiverse. Well, then, yeah, maybe Secret Wars does make sense to happen towards the end of this phase. We just didn't know that that's what the setup was. Any thoughts on that one?
What if he fought Hydra agent Steve Rogers? He got captured by Hydra and they brainwashed him.
Yeah.
Nah, I've always would like to see and I know a lot of fans want this, like a Captain America movie about the time when he went to the past with the Infinity Stones and was returning everything. To see the interaction he had with Red Skull in Vormir, and I don't know, and then like maybe have a cameo of Wolverine, because in the comics it's like Winter Soldier was doing a mission, he accidentally helped Weapon X escape, it wasn't intentional, but they can do it with Cap instead.
Yeah,
and I know that the Russo brothers really like working with Chris Evans, because they even like jokingly said that they would love to cast him as Wolverine, but that ain't gonna happen. So, I don't know. Well, there's just so many different things that they're already doing, and it's throwing all of us off because they're sticking to the comics, yes, but they're doing it in a new way. So it's kind of hard to say what's up next,
Yeah, they recently announced that they're doing the Thunderbolts movie, that went into production. So it seems like they're kind of, in pre-production for that. So, okay, how does that tie up to the next big Marvel movie, right? The next Avenger.
I keep hearing or reading about and seeing on YouTube even videos about the Dark Avengers, that's what they're trying to set up. And a lot of fans are speculating that this would be a great opportunity for them to bring out the Marvel version of Norman Osborn, slowly taking over. And then they're going to have to recast General Ross, obviously.
Yeah. But, they don't I mean, it would be great if they did bring in Norman Osborn, but they don't necessarily need to bring him in. They can straight up use Baron Zemo, right? Because his storyline has been like, hey, I'm completely opposed super beings. I don't think there should be superheroes. I don't think there should be people with powers. That's a major problem. And if he's able to sell the people, the common folk on that, well, why wouldn't they put him in charge, right? And why wouldn't he want to get his hands on the, what was it called? The Iron Patriot armor?
Yeah.
And you see Baron Zemo in that. Like, they potentially set him up to play that role of Norman Osborn. I'd buy that. I'd be okay with that.
Baron Zemo can't wear the Iron Patriot. He's not even American in the comics, man.
But that's fine, though. Like,
nah, he's loaded. He has the money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he can do something completely different. Honestly, I wouldn't even like to see the Iron Patriot being worn as a villain, unless it was like they were going the political way the comics did.
Well, if they're that's what I'm saying. Like, if they do it in the comics and they do the Dark Avengers, where you have all these villains dressed up as Avengers, pretending to be Avengers, right?
Yeah.
Then have them wear the armor. Now, if they're gonna stick strictly to the Thunderbolts, how is that gonna work? Because Baron Zemo was in that as well. But then that's where Norman Osborn started. He was overseeing the Thunderbolts before they put him in charge of all of the government's military, and he created the Dark Avengers himself, right? Yeah. So,
I mean, I love the actor. He does a great job for having no like superhuman abilities. The dude is one of the best villains in the MCU.
He
So
was
I would like
actually
to
the
see more
first
of him.
villain to defeat the Avengers, really, before Thanos did.
Yeah, I put them against each other. That line is so dope.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I love that movie.
yeah.
But no, yeah, I mean, it would be awesome to see him because what's the Thunderbolts right now? You have the bad Captain America. I forget his name.
Oh, U.S. Agent. Yep.
Yeah, U.S. Agent. Then you have Baron Zemo. Then you have Ross, which would be the Red Hulk. Which I hope they do that.
I
'Cause
think
would
they'll
like
do
to see
Abomination. I don't think they'll do Red Hulk.
Abomination. Oh, that's true. They did bring him out, huh? With Shang-Chi.
And Ghost. Remember Ghost from Ant-Man, the second
Oh, yeah.
Ant-Man movie? They could put her in there. Taskmaster. They can
But
bring
she
in
died.
Yelena.
I thought
Oh
Taskmaster.
no, nah, she survived. The Taskmaster.
Oh yeah, you're right. They
homegirl,
took her.
yeah.
with
She went with the rest of the Black Widows, even Yelena. They want to throw Yelena up in there. But that's the other thing. They also set up the Young Avengers. Like, where do the Young Avengers fit in all of this?
Yeah, you got Miss Marvel, the new Hawkeye, the
got
younger,
Patriot.
yeah, Patriot, future Captain America. So they're setting up a lot. There's a billion different ways they can go with
Yeah.
this, man.
Yeah.